Well, over the next 10 years, the U.S. economy will create roughly 20 million new jobs. But here's the catch. Of those new jobs, 6 out of 10 will require a college degree or an occupational certification. And not just any old sheepskin. These are jobs that require specific skills, which is why an effort is underway in schools across our country to closer match education with jobs. Earlier this spring, I had the opportunity to sit down with the director of Harvard Business School's Pathways to Prosperity project, Bill Symonds, to talk about education for the jobs of the future. Mr. Symonds, I think it's probably a widely held conventional wisdom that we need more college graduates in this country. In fact, President Obama has mentioned that. Our governor has her own initiative to do that. Yet you say in your report, Pathways to Prosperity, that may not be the right focus. Why is that?
Well, I think we have to define what we mean by college. So a lot of Americans think in order to succeed in 2012, you need to go to a 4-year college, whether that's Oklahoma State, University of Oklahoma, or some other school. What we're saying is for most jobs, you actually don't need a 4-year college degree. At the same time, many kids are going to a 4-year college because they think they need that degree, and they're dropping out before they get the degree. So they end up with a lot of debt. Student debt this year is going to equal or exceed $1 trillion. Students now have more debt than Americans have money on their credit card, which is pretty incredible if you know anything about the amount of money that the average person puts on their credit card. So they're acquiring a lot of debt. Many of them are not getting the degree. And many of those degrees are not necessary for the good jobs that we have in the economy.
And we also have a fairly high unemployment in the 20-somethings. Is that possibly a symptom of whether they're not getting the degree or maybe they're getting the wrong degree?
I think it is a symptom of the growing disconnect between education on the one hand and the workforce on the other. What do you need to succeed in the workforce of today?
So how does our nation get on this pathway to prosperity?
We think it requires taking a more realistic approach to education. We think we've gone way too far down the road of academic elitism. It sounds funny from a guy who's from Harvard, but we think there's been too much emphasis on strictly academic success, not enough emphasis on the real world practical skills you need. So one good illustration of that is career counseling. Talking to students about what they want to do when they grow up in a very realistic sense. Students know that we have doctors and lawyers, obviously. Many of them know about CSI because of there's so many programs now about CSIs. They don't know about a lot of the jobs in our economy, though, and so they're not aware of all the options. So career counseling is a good starting point. That's not a radical proposal, that's really common sense. But what's amazing is that many of our high school students get almost nothing in the way of real career counseling.
How early should this counseling start?
Well, you can start talking to students about what they want to do at a fairly young age. I think by the time they get to middle school, that would be a great time to start talking more seriously about what their options are and connect that also to how much money you can make in the different fields, what kind of skills you need to succeed in those fields, what are you going to be doing all day, is that really something that you're interested in? And we think that going from there, it's good to ask students to start developing a life plan. What are they aiming to do? What kind of courses do they need to get there to do that? Now, you can change your mind. We're not talking about tracking students into anything. These are decisions that they would make along with their parents, but they're starting to think about it. That's the key point.
What about those people that would argue that the experience of going to the university, of being in college, is just as important as the education that you would receive?
Well, I think there's lots of different experiences you can have in life. For many students, it turns out to be fairly difficult. They're acquiring a lot of debt, et cetera, and they're in many cases not doing well in the class if they don't know why they're there. I'm not saying that a 4-year college is bad for everyone. Obviously, it's a great option for some students, but we've oversold it as the only answer, the only pathway. What we're suggesting is there should be multiple pathways to success. For some students, a 4-year college is really the best option. But for other students, they'd be a lot better off going to a place like Metro Tech.
And speaking of Metro Tech, we're sitting here inside this airplane hangar where there is a lot of skills-based learning. Is that what you're talking about, what we should focus on?
Right. Many of the best jobs in the U.S. Are what we call middle skills jobs. They require very advanced technical skills. They do not require a 4-year college degree. The graduates coming out of Metro Tech here are spending about 18 months on average to get their certificate. When they're coming out, they're getting jobs, many of them starting at about $50,000 a year. With overtime, many of them are making a lot more than that. Now here in Oklahoma, the average wage is only $28,000 a year. So you can see that just by spending 18 months at Metro Tech, you're already coming out making perhaps twice as much as what the average worker does in Oklahoma. I'd say that's a pretty good return on the investment. And by the way, you can get all of this education for less than $9,000. Compare that to the tuition at a four-year college, and you'll see this is a really great deal.
Now I have much, much more with Mr. Symonds, including some very good advice for not only students, but parents and teachers. And it's all streaming on our website. Just go to okhorizon.com and click on this week's Value Added.